Welcome to my channel. My name is Tandy. If you're returning, welcome back. Today's video is going to be slightly different from what I usually post. I have had this on my heart to talk about for a while. I felt like I needed to share my experience with getting to the point where I feel confident and I love myself, so that hopefully it'll help someone else. The first step starts with the mind. People always say to me, like, I admire your confidence, you feel so confident, you wear whatever you want, you look good, and I wish I could do that. I just don't know how to, but I admire your confidence. And it's crazy to hear it now, because 3 years ago I wasn't that confident girl. I wasn't. I went through a very traumatic relationship, one of the worst relationships ever, and it could have been worse than what it was had it have not ended. I think I might not have been here to even be telling you guys my story, because this person was trying to take me down and take me out, and I truly believe that. So within abusive relationships, a lot of times they start off, it's more of a progressive thing. Okay, so I did this to her or him, and this was the outcome. Okay, they're still here. All right, let me up the ante and see if they take that. Okay, they took that. Now let me up the ante and see if they take, oh, they're taking that too. Okay, so now we have no limit. No matter what I do, you're going to be here. So now I'm just going to abuse you whenever I feel like it, because it makes me feel good. And that was the type of situation I was in. But the crazy thing is I knew that it was gonna progressively get worse. And I tried to lie to myself and say, okay, well, he only really did it once, but that's not true. That's not true. He verbally abused me first. There were telltale signs there telling me that this ain't right and you should not be in this, and that it's going to get worse. Like, I knew it was going to get worse. But I craved their attention. I craved their affection. I craved their love. And they made me feel so good. Even in all of the abuse that I was experiencing, at the same token, they made me feel so good. He made me feel beautiful, even when I looked a mess. He made me feel like I was everything, even if I didn't feel it that day. And I became addicted to the validation that he gave me. I craved it and I needed it. So whenever we weren't on good terms, I still craved that attention, that validation from him. I needed his love and his approval. Whenever he would take it away, that was all I could think about, was getting back on good terms with him. But I didn't realize that the let me give it to you and take it away from you is a part of the psychological abuse that I didn't understand at the time.
They're gonna flip it on you. It's gonna be all about you. You did this wrong, you did that wrong, because they don't want to take accountability for their action. They just want to, after they blame, they want to shut down, because then that makes them the victim. So they just love to kind of flip things on you. And the reason why they like to flip things, the reason why they're shutting down, is because, number one, they don't know what they're feeling, they don't know where their wounds are, and they're just reacting so someone else can be responsible for what they're feeling and where their wounds are, and that person is going to be you. Also, someone that you've had an argument with or a discussion with, and now they're starting to shut down, and or they like to give you the silent treatment, that's just their drink of choice. They do that because they know it bugs you. So like I said, in a lot of my videos, we teach people how we want to be treated. And so if someone shuts down, and when they shut down, we just hover over them and we just, like really need to talk about everything, and why are you giving me the silent treatment, and you're just begging and begging for someone to give you attention, then that person knows that they got to you. But if you were self-loving to say, okay, you're acting like a child and you're beginning to shut down, and that's not acceptable. The next reason why someone might give you the silent treatment is because this is your punishment. So it kind of goes along with because they know it bugs you inside. This is their way of punishing you for holding them accountable, for trying to make them, accountable for their actions or what they said or what they did. And when people don't want to be held accountable, they're going to use a lot of abusive tactics in order to, like I said, either punish you or flip the script on you. And really, by punishing you, that's what makes them feel powerful. That's what makes them the victim. So they become the victim. They begin to have power in the discussion or argument. They've now flipped it on you, and they've now won, and you're sitting there hurt, upset, begging to talk about this, begging for attention, when they're just sitting back and feeling and have basically sucked you dry, essentially. And this is why sometimes a narcissist, this is their drink of choice, is the silent treatment, or one of them, is because they feel powerful at the end because they have switched the gears, and now they're the victim and you're the person that actually hurt them.
But what I learned was I was depending on this person to love me when I didn't love myself. And you can't do that. You can't depend on someone to love you when you're not loving yourself. First of all, that's too much weight to put on someone. You have to learn how to appreciate and accept and love yourself by yourself without validation from anyone else, without approval from anyone else, without someone verbally telling you you are amazing, you are beautiful, you are smart. You have got to tell yourself these things. You have got to know that for yourself before anyone can tell you. Because if you already know that in yourself, that you are that girl or that guy, anyone else's compliments are extra. You should not be seeking that approval or that validation from anyone but yourself, because it doesn't hold as much weight when it's not coming from you. After that breakup, I knew that I was a victim. I was playing victim. I realized I was playing victim. I wanted to learn what it was about me that told this person it was okay to treat me that way. And as I digged deeper and deeper within myself, I learned that it wasn't just him. It was multiple situations that happened in my life that broke me down. All of those things molded me into being that person who is more susceptible of being taken advantage of. I had to realize what it was, what signal was I giving to this person or to these people to make it seem like it was okay to treat me this way.
And when you choose to be one of these victims, that means you have no room to move forward. You have no room for dreams. You have no room for aspirations. You have no room for the actions that lead to those aspirations because you're so busy filling your mind with the bad shit that's happened to you already in life that you have zero chance moving forward.
I wanted someone to love me so bad. I realized that people picked up on it. They knew I was desperate for them to be in my life, and they took advantage of it. Gosh, I have so many stories that I could tell you about times when I was taken advantage of, and looking back on those experiences, I realized, oh wow, so that's where I went wrong. I realized what I did as a response to something they may have said or done to me that told them it was okay to continue to take my kindness for weakness. All of those things affected my confidence, my self-worth, and my love for myself. This is why you cannot be dependent on someone else to give you what you need to learn how to give to yourself. I could totally sit here and tell you, if you do step 1, if you do step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, then you'll be the more confident person. I could totally sit here and tell you that, which all of those steps might be valid, But if you don't start the work in your mind and learn how to love yourself and validate yourself and appreciate yourself, those steps are going to be null and void. Because the first person that comes into your life that does whatever to treat you wrong or to try to bring you down or knock you off, you're still going to be open to it. And it's going to knock you completely off of your game. It's going to knock you off of that self-love journey. So you have got to be strong within the mind. There's no way around that.
Who are you?
I am Iyanla, great mother. I am a servant of God. I am a teacher of the people. I am a cultural custodian. Just to be in my presence is going to make you want to do better. Because if you're not that excited about you, why would anybody else be that excited about you?
Right.
Appreciate yourself for where you are in that moment. And I know it's hard. It's the most difficult thing to know that you don't look the way you would want to look, or feel like if I look this way, then I would feel so much better about myself. Or if I had this much money in my bank account, I would be so much happier. If I just only had this and that and the third, then I would be, no, You got to be there before you get those things, because you ain't gonna appreciate it. Once you get to that point, it's always gonna be something else. Well, if I had, it's always gonna be an if I had, if only this, if only that. It's always going to be something else. So you gotta start within the mind, and you have to start being appreciative of where you are in life now, of what you have now. The good and the bad. I used to be very, very insecure about my arms. As you can see, I have really big arms. Look, like they do that flappy thing, and they have only gotten worse as I've gotten older. I will be 30 this year, and my arms have only gotten worse, and I had major weight loss and my arms did not go down. And if they did go down, then that might just be excess skin. I don't know. So they have not gone down. But I have had big arms majority of my life. And I used to want to hide them, or I wouldn't want to wear certain shirts because of them. And no more. Who are my arms bothering? And baby, if you don't like them, don't look. Because this is where I am right now. I have them. It is what it is. I have cellulite. I have a fupa. Hell, I got 2 fupas. You know, I got a roll here and a roll down there. So, before I started to lose weight, I started to love myself. I started to tell myself, I am that girl. I am confident. I am beautiful, regardless of how I look. Yes, I am almost 400 pounds, but I love myself. And I am confident, and I am wanted, and I am desired. Before I lost the weight, I was working on accepting myself for where I was, and constantly telling myself that I am beautiful, I am wanted, I am desired, so that when someone else told me, I already know. And you can't manipulate me by telling me that I'm beautiful. You can't, because I already feel that for myself. When you don't have self-love and self-worth, and you don't feel confident within yourself already, it makes you more susceptible to people taking advantage of you, or telling you whatever it is that they know you want to hear to get closer to you, to get whatever it is that they want up out of you. Because if you're insecure, best believe that person knows. If you think that they don't know, but they do. They see you coming, they smell you from a mile away. So you have got to work on it on your own. For me, I made the decision that I knew the type of woman that I wanted to be. So I was going to make steps towards getting there. It started within me. I knew that I shouldn't be dating because I wasn't all the way 100% confident. And I didn't want to fall deep into the trap of another man trying to use my insecurities against me to get me to do whatever it is that they wanted me to do for them. I knew that I needed to be single. I still had moments of wanting to feel validated. And that is another thing. As you are starting to change, there will be times where you kind of backtrack and go back somewhat into the life that you used to live. But at that point, you should start recognizing, okay, now I'm slipping back into old habits. And when it doesn't feel good, you recognize this is why it doesn't feel good, because I am doing something that I said I no longer wanted to do. So it should be easier for you to walk out of, because now you recognize it. So once I made that decision that this is the woman that I wanted to be, and whenever I would find myself in a situation that I knew I should not be in, it made it easier for me to see things for what it was, and it made it easier for me to walk away from it. And it's crazy because when you start to change and people notice that you're starting to change, you're no longer of any use to them. So you don't have to even worry about walking away from a lot of those people. They end up walking away from you because you're not giving them what they need from you. What made it easier for me to be more confident while I was going through that journey was learning to speak positivity into myself and give myself more positive and kind words. So this goes back into what I said with starting with the mind, right? So you want to speak positively about yourself. What you tell yourself will affect what you believe. So if you constantly tell yourself, I am fat, I have fat arms, I have fat legs, I have a fat stomach, I'm ugly, I'm broke, I hate my hair, I hate my body, I hate my life, I hate this relationship. All of those things may be true. You may hate all of those things, okay? But as you continue to say those things to yourself over and over again, you also continue to stay within that negativity. You also continue to stay within that negative mindset. How are you gonna break free from something if you're not gonna tell yourself something different? So you have to break out of that. You have got to start feeding positivity into yourself. Even if that means you need to isolate yourself for a little while to get away from it. You gotta put yourself first, okay? Before you can be someone to someone else, a good mother, a good daughter, a good girlfriend, or a good wife, before you can be any of those things to anyone else, it's okay to be selfish.
So it's not selfish to put yourself first.
No, it's self-full.
It's self-full.
It's self-full to be first, to be as good as possible to you, to take care of you, to keep you whole and healthy. That doesn't mean that you disregard everything and everyone, but you want to come with your cup full. You know, my cup runneth over.
Yeah.
What comes out of the cup is for y'all. What's in the cup is mine. But I gotta keep my cup full.
When you feel yourself starting to say something negative about yourself, recognize that you have that issue and stop. Okay, I'm starting to think negatively about myself. Let me redirect my mind onto something else. Learning to redirect your mind is going to become a habit for you. All right, I realize I'm starting to think negatively. Let me redirect onto something else. I don't care what it is. One of my lights just went out. I don't care what it is that you redirect your mind to. Just make sure that it's not anything negative. Say you're sitting in your room and you realize there's dust on your window. Dang, there's a lot of dust on my window. Let me get up and clean that. Man, look at all of that on my floor. Let me organize my room. I really want to learn how to make clothes. Let me research how to make clothes. Let me research how to become wealthy and get multiple streams of income. That goes for if someone else is trying to speak negativity onto you as well. I realize that this person is trying to bring me down right now by saying these mean and hurtful things to me. Let me detach my emotions. I'm not gonna react. Ooh, baby, that's another video for another day. Learning to not react. I know it might sound lame. I get that, but it works. Let me tell y'all something. I was missing a tooth for a few months. Terrible relationship that I was in. He knocked my tooth out. Actually, my tooth went through my bottom lip. That's how this scar, this keloid got here. Honey, face all messed up. I was at the lowest point of my life. I didn't want to get dressed in the morning. I didn't feel motivated to do anything. And I hated life. I wanted to be invisible. I didn't want people to look at me. I couldn't afford contact lenses at the time, so I was walking around with these big old broken glasses, and I was insecure about it. But I didn't have a choice. I had to walk around with them because I didn't have any contact lens. I got this big old keloid on my lip. I was missing a tooth, and I got these big old Coke bottle glasses, and I couldn't afford to get my hair done, and I just sat in it. I would get up at the very last minute to go to work and just throw something on. Just throw on whatever. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to be there. And I didn't feel good about myself, and I wanted to be invisible. Even if you fall back into bad habits, it's so important to not give up and to keep going. You're gonna fall off. You're gonna fall into bad habits again. That's okay. Just don't stay there. You have to view this as literally reprogramming your brain. Decide what it is that you will and will not accept anymore. Make rules, whether you write them down or it's a mental note. It's always better to write things down, I feel, but I know that everybody's not that way. But it's always a good idea to write things down and come up with rules for yourself and rules for other people that interact with you.
People violate you when you don't have clear boundaries because you don't tell them how to behave in your life, and they run amok. They run amok because you don't have clear boundaries.
These are my boundaries. These are things that I will and will not accept. And if anyone breaks these boundaries that I have set, they gotta go. They gotta go. I don't care if they're family. I don't care if they're friends. And I don't care if they're your husband. You want to make sure that you remove negative people from your life. Because those negative people are comfortable with you being where you are. They're not trying to get you to be the best potential that you could possibly be. You provide them with what they need. Meanwhile, they're sucking you completely dry. You don't see your light. You have got to see it so that you are not opening yourself up to being around people that don't deserve you. And setting standards for yourself and setting standards for the people that are going to be in your life is how you start with that. Decide to be who you want to be and then make it happen. That's the end of this video, you guys. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the post notification bell so that you are notified each and every time I post a new video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I do plan to bring more videos like this to my channel. We're all capable of getting to this spot of self-love. That is all. I will see you guys in the next one.